Let me be quiet.
Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Welcome. You are viewing another episode of Sisters of Legacy. I'm going to go ahead and run the promo as soon as I find it. Where? See, look, I was all halfway ready.
Almost.
Where'd it go? Don't do that. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and run the promo and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back, ladies. So, of course, tonight we got Tangela and Katrina in the building. As he said,
Evening.
oh, Trina, yeah, you are kind of dark tonight.
Yeah, I don't know.
You over there trying to set the mood?
Definitely not.
All right, ladies. So tonight, our topic is it's gonna be kind of like really broad, but I wanted to talk about, or I guess the starting question would be, what does your woman to woman interaction look like? Meaning, we've been talking about the men protecting us as women, and we really haven't talked about our side of it. Like, do we protect other women? How do we respond to other women that really look like me? Like, how do we respond to each other? So I just wanted to bring up that side of it as well. I mean, men are a great source of protection, but that sister to sister protection is also very needed. So I wanted to see what you ladies take on it.
And you're so right, Sam. The sister connection is very important. I have two biological sisters, um, and so I know that woman to woman dynamic, and the way our relationship is kind of set up. And we were just kind of talking about this the other day. Uh, I think we've given ourselves the space to grow and evolve. And even in our birth order, we kind of fell into, certain stigma, like the oldest is the bossy one, the middle one is the wild child, and the youngest is the baby and the spoiled one of the group. And as we grow up, it kind of you still kind of carry that stigma with you. But as I'm growing up and looking at my sisters as no longer, my sisters, but fellow Black women, I'm more compassionate towards them, because we're going through some of the same things. And instead of kind of having that big sister to say, you need to do this and you need to do that, I'm learning to be more empathetic. And so as I foster relationships, even outside of my sister, my sisterhood, and really branching out and making more friends, I'm trying to carry that same mindset along with me. Um, as Black women, we go through a lot. We're faced with so many different um, adversities, be it in the workplace or in the home or in society, period. We need all the allies we can get, especially when they look like us, they feel like us, and they have gone through what we've gone through. I think compassion is what we need.
Okay. Trina?
I agree with that. I mean, we go through so many things, and if you have someone that you can relate to, someone that says, you know what, girl, I've been there. Like just this week, one of the parents, one of the moms, she had told me she was pregnant. She came to the door and she was dropping her son off and she was crying. I was just like, you okay? And she was just like, I just had a stressful morning. So then later on, she came back and she was just like, I lost the baby. And it was, I know COVID and everything, but I hugged her and I was just like, girl, listen, I've been there. You know what I mean? And when I tell you this morning, I just pray for you, but just to take the moment, I met her a couple of weeks ago. Her child just started with me. But, just to take that time and compassion and just, I've been there, because we go through a lot. We go through a lot,
Right. I definitely agree. We definitely have a lot of moving parts in our lives as women. Not that men don't have as many, but this is a woman's show, so we're gonna talk about women. We definitely do have a lot of moving parts, and often we just juggle them. If we gotta get your foot up to catch something, we do that, and we don't a lot of times look to other people, even if it's just for support. We just keep juggling. No, I'm okay, girl, I got it. And that's our daily, I got it, I got it, I got it. All the time we dropping stuff, stuff is breaking, the kids are going left, the check engine light is on in the car, your bank account is getting close, it's taking a dive, and we still like, I got it. And I think sometimes we do ourselves disservice, being so strong or so dependent. There is strength in numbers. Mm-hmm. There is, support systems are extremely important, especially in this day and time. Like if you've never felt that before, everything that's happened in the last 12 months should have made, that more of a priority for people. That support system is so important. And then, I guess my question kind of had a part two to it. Like, as a woman, do you feel it's hard to be your authentic self with other women? Like, is that a factor? Is that why we're always like, I got it, because we don't want the judgment from somebody else? Or is it we don't want to look weak? Or is it just conditioned behavior, that we've got it for so long that that's just our natural reaction?
I think it's a few things. I think, there's the myth of the strong Black woman, which I'll be honest, I think that's a bad stereotype for Black women, to only be heralded by how much weight and burden you can take. There's that. There could also be suspicion, of the next woman. If I'm vulnerable, if I share, things that I'm struggling with, would they use this against me? Right. And I think we all kind of had some of those stories where, you trusted somebody and then, they violated that trust. Right. So of course you kind of take that that mistrust into the next situation. When you see the next woman, it's like, well, nah, I'm gonna keep my distance because last time old girl did this,
Right.
and it's kind of hard for people to trust, especially forging, you know, the sister girl relationships. So I think it could be a few things, just you know, from my vantage point.
Okay. And Trina?
I absolutely agree with that as far as the trust issue. Um, because it's just like when it comes to certain things, you may need to share. It's just like, if someone's shady, then they get the, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored, and you keep
Yeah.
it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you don't know if you can trust. You don't know, if they're going to go and tell your stuff to the next person, gossip about you, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you don't want your trust violated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there's also, it's just like, especially like in the church, if you feel like that person can't relate, like it's that if someone has been out there or been in the world, you know what I'm saying? And then there's people who haven't stepped out at all. You know what I mean? Then there's that, are they going to hold that against me? If I, relate things I've been through. Um, I don't know. So I'm just generally I'm not telling nobody nothing. Well, I mean, it's true because I'm just like it's like you said. I've been there where my stuff has been put out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a PK, so my father put my stuff out there on the roster.
Right.
Sam, you knew what I did before I told anybody because he was preaching about it.
Listen, he put everybody's stuff out there. Listen, there was no secrets at Wallace Memorial.
So, I didn't have to tell anybody because that was Sunday morning message. Whatever I did on Saturday night, if he found out, he preached about it Sunday morning. So, so I never, I always had the situation where my stuff was out there, and then now, I don't know how many people talked about me. I'm sure they did. Because PK thing or whatever. But then I got to the point where I just didn't care anymore. I was just like, well, you know what, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and
Right.
let the chips forward.
All right, so we got
Forecast.
a couple of our gentlemen in the building. Let's see. Ephraim said, in general, who do you trust less, men or women? That's a good question. Tangela?
I'll be honest, I didn't grow up with a lot of friends. It was like even now, my husband and my mom is probably like my best friend. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just now learning how to, develop relationships outside of my family circle. Because I think I've gotten so used to, only kind of having this small nucleus. I think for a couple of reasons we were a tight knit family, and then too, I'm kind of introverted by nature. So unless somebody approaches me, I'm definitely not going to approach them.
Right.
So it kind of it I would say both. I'll be honest. But I think generally sometimes there's that suspicion when it comes, with women, especially if you are, trying to connect, on like a networking level or even a peer in ministry. There seems to be kind of a distrust, like I don't want to tell you too much because you're going to try to, take my resources or, might try to upstage me. So I've kind of found it hard to, to force some of those relationships, especially if I'm, looking on at it from like a business friendship or a ministry friendship. It's kind of hard because you really don't know. It's hard to tell people motives and their intentions. That's kind of where I am.
Right. So, and Andriana, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. She said women. Honestly, I would have to agree with her. For me, like throughout my life, throughout my whole life, even adolescence, it's always been I've trusted women less. Um, I've always got along better with guys. Um, just even like as friends, I'm not sure kind of why that is. I mean, I know like the whole box of what you're supposed to be. Everybody always has this box of what you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to look like and what you're supposed to sound like. And I don't know, I've never really found one of those boxes that I fit in. So like with women, I always feel like the odd one out. Like, so it's always been harder to trust them because they'll pick you apart.
Mm-hmm.
You don't look like what we think. You didn't wear blue when everybody else was wearing blue. You didn't wear white on the first Sunday or whatever it was. It was always some little pick. And so for me, it's always been easier like with guys because they don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
If you're cool with a guy and you guys are friends, and I mean just friendships, like they don't like that stuff don't matter to them. Like they don't really get into that. Oh, they were like, oh girl, put your head down. Your track showing a little bit. And then y'all will laugh and they'll keep it moving. They're not about to go home and tell 20 of their friends, that your track was showing. So I think for me, it's definitely been previously because now, as I'm older, now like within the last 12 months, maybe more like 6, I've I've established more relationships with women and like being able to reach out and talk even past my comfort zone because I'd be like, whew, okay, let me go ahead and send out my text to everybody, but that is still like is a struggle for me.
It caused you to be vulnerable. I think there's nothing worse than thinking you are friends with somebody and then hear that they said something, about you. I had something like that happen and I'm thinking that, oh, we cool and then, it's like, well, you might want to watch out for old girl because she said such and such. It's like, okay, all right, shut it down. So it makes you leery about, trusting the next one.
Right. That vulnerability. It's like they just busted your balloon. Trudy, did you want to answer that question? Let me get that one down. Who do you trust less, women or men?
I don't know. I just kind of, I don't know. It's everybody is kind of just to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Men and women. It's just kind of to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like, but I have found, and when I say to a certain extent, like I have a very small circle, of course. And then I have friends like who I call my village. And it's because I met them through my kids.
Right.
And they are women that I trust with my children.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's 2 people, you can go to their house.
Right.
Boom. And I trust those women and I call them my friends. You know what I'm saying? Because if I can trust you with my children and I know that you ain't having no mess at your house, you know what I'm saying? And I love them and those are my friends. But then I have my friends that I grew up with from young who know like my stuff.
Right.
So it's just like, I don't know. I have my friends, and they're this. I don't want to say sets of friends or
It's kind of like it's levels to your friendship.
yeah.
To make it, kind of, it's kind of like there's levels to it. It's like, okay, I could tell you this, but then them, I could tell them a little more. It is kind of weird, especially the older you get, you figure that out.
It's like
Right.
who's gonna this I have friends who I know no matter what I tell them, they're not gonna judge me.
Right.
I can tell them anything and they're not gonna judge me. I'm like, oh, that's what you did? Okay.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And then there's other people who you like, it's just like, I can't tell them that, because it'll just be like, okay, you are going straight to hell, honey. You know what I mean? So it's just, and to be able to have someone that that you can come to and be vulnerable and know that they're not going to judge you. They're just going to pray for you, with you, or it may not be that one scripture entered or said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be like, girl, that's what it is. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just need that. And I know what you mean. Sometimes you just need I hear you.
Mhm.
I already, we know the word. I know it. And you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you don't need a whole, sermon
Right.
about it. You just be like, well, girl. And sometimes you just need not to be judged. And there's not a lot of people who are going to just not judge you.
Absolutely. So Anthony said, so how do you get over the fear of vulnerability?
Honestly, I prayed, and I told my husband that, I want friends, I'm thankful that God is putting women in my life who I think are of character, and who are of substance, and who I think will truly be a friend.
Right.
And I think you can't allow the past to rob you of future relationships.
Right.
And it's something that you have to, as they say, proceed with caution, but you can't put everybody on, hold them to that. I would just advise to, make sure that you're examining, when we were younger, we had a whole different criteria for friendship.
Right.
A friend was like, somebody, is this somebody I can hang out with? Do they, like the same thing I like, and things like that. But now I'm realizing that my definition of friendship is a lot different. I need somebody who's going to pray. I need somebody who's going to push. I need someone who's going to be loyal, but who will also encourage, and
Right.
someone who will be receptive to the same thing from me. So as I grow, I'm learning that, even some of the lessons that I've learned in previous friendships, it's allowed me to grow up and mature to where I can really appreciate a sister friend relationship, going forward. I even had a friend, call me out to say, we need to communicate more. We're friends, and it convicted me because I knew, she was right. And it showed that she had a vested interest in our friendship.
Right.
But because I was so used to people being kind of flaky with their words and kind of saying things, they say it, but they don't really mean it. It was kind of hard for me to accept the fact that somebody really wanted to be my friend.
Right.
So I had to let my guard down, and I'm still learning to, let my guard down and really let somebody in, because those sister relationships can be really fruitful, because, like we said, women understand things that men will never understand.
Right.
They can't understand. And when you mentioned earlier, Trina, about the young lady who lost a child, we went through that. Actually, went through that twice. And although my husband was hurt, I don't know if he could quite feel what I felt.
Right.
And so when I see another woman go through that, I instantly
Right.
go back to that moment in time,
Mhm.
and I can identify with that pain and that loss.
Right.
So although he can sympathize and he experienced loss as well, I don't think it was the same. Not better, not worse, but
Just different.
It's different.
Right.
it was different.
Absolutely, because we experienced that, and I was like, I was devastated because it was like the first time, and I like could barely, just get myself together, and he was like, okay, like I'm hurt, but we gotta, it was just a different like, okay,
Right.
we gotta keep it moving, and I was
Like
like,
moving.
I needed everything to stop for a
Yeah.
little bit. Like, in my mind, nothing was making sense right now. So I needed everything to stop. And he's like, yeah, but I need you to keep going. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I could say it definitely was different, and it took some understanding of the different part, 'cause from the outside, it looked like it ain't really affecting you like it's affecting me.
Right.
It takes maturity for you to know that it's just different.
Right.
Not any less or not any better. So Monique said, yes, women can be so toxic towards one another. Absolutely. Adriana, I hope I'm saying this right. She said, to me, it's always competition.
That's Andrina. Shout out to Andrina. That's one of our church members.
Okay, Andrina, that's how you say it?
Yes.
Okay, Andrina, I got it. I got you. And it said, right, we can be mean to one another. Absolutely. She said, you get over it by continuing to be honest, not caring what people say, because at the end of the day, you have to live with you, not them. Let's see. Another question. Anthony said, how do you know who you can share with? I think that's like one of those things that it comes with like a proven track record. Like she said, proceed with caution. I think kind of over time,
Right.
You develop that. And then, sometimes you meet somebody and you feel like you've known them forever. I mean, those are rare things when you meet somebody and really feel a connection. But I think, that's something that can happen too, where, you just feel like I can share, and then you're brave enough to take that chance. And, because it's kind of like a leap of faith.
Yeah.
You taking a chance and seeing where it leads you.
And I think, even with, wisdom, you don't jump out there and just tell them your whole life story.
Right.
Just like you trust with a little bit. Let me, let's see how you do with a little bit of something. And then if you handle it well, then I know how far and how much I can trust you. But you're not getting the keys to the car just yet.
Right. Right.
Right.
So she said, why? She said, why do we do that to each other? Men will have 30 male friends, but women will only have like 3. I mean, I don't know. Anthony, like for men, they can be friends, but they ain't got to talk but once a year. Because, they're not going to share a whole lot. I think men are just as bad as us in a lot of ways, because they have to learn how to let their guards down too and be vulnerable to one another. And I don't think it's any easier for them. I think they just, throw titles around a little more. Like, oh yeah, that's my friend. When did I say we talked to them? Oh, last Thanksgiving. So I just think it's a different definition on the whole thing. So I'm gonna read something that I saw online. It says, why does no one talk about how friends can break your heart so devastatingly, intimately, sometimes a million times worse than romantic partners? Why does no one talk about friend breakups? And that made me think, like, like you were saying, Tangela, you friends with somebody, you go somewhere and they like, oh, you friends with her because she said that. And like you feel like the whole world done, dropped out from under you when you trust somebody. And not even, I know for me, it's not even about so much you repeating what I say, because most of the time don't really care. Like I said it. Like
Yeah.
you know, it kind of is what it is. But it's just the fact that I trusted you with it. Like and then you put it out there. That trust thing, is huge in any relationship. But I think when we cried together or whatever, and I feel like we close, and that bottom falls out. You're right. It can be very, very devastating. Trina, you want to say something?
I don't know that in my adult life I've had a friendship that kind of like broke up, but I definitely had things that drifted apart. Somebody, a friend that I was, friends with for a very long time, and I just don't know why. Things just drifted apart, and it hurt me, but I was just like, well, I mean, I guess if it's important enough to that person, yeah, because it's somebody I reached out to, and then they didn't like reach back or whatever. So now I was just like, okay, well, but it's one of those things where I don't know. I mean, I think that the quote is correct. Like, we don't talk about it. I didn't know what else to do. I was hurt by it, but I was just like, well, I don't know. I mean, what do you do? I mean, if the person doesn't want to be close with you anymore, and you reached out and then they don't, like, I guess you just deal with the hurt and then get over it. I don't know. I mean, if there was a thing that happened, or if they thought something happened and they didn't tell you, then what can you do about it if they don't say, this is the reason I stopped talking to you?
Right.
Like, if they thought it was important enough, wouldn't they come to you and say, oh, you did this and this hurt me, or you said this? But if you don't know, then I can't apologize, I can't make it right if you don't say anything to me. If you just ghost me as a friend, like, what do you do?
Can I ask a question? Do you think we are taught how to be friends? Do you think we're taught, especially with women? Because I think a lot of women go through, if I can speak, for myself, a lot of insecurities. So sometimes it's hard to enter into a friendship with someone who you ought to, in your mind, you kind of see at not as a competition, but you automatically size up in comparison. So I wonder, one thing that I try to tell, my girls is that, if you see a young lady has a pretty hairstyle, tell her hairstyle is pretty. If you like her jacket, tell her that her jacket is pretty. You don't have to automatically do the, look up and down as you walk into the room. Mm-hmm. So I sometimes I wonder, do we teach, or do we just kind of assume that, go out there and make a friend? Are we really taught the principles of true friendship?
I'll definitely say, I definitely believe everything is learned behavior. Either someone's actually teaching you, or the lack of teaching, and you just kind of learning by trial and error. I'll say, like, for me, I definitely learned friendship by a lot of trial and error, because I thought that friendship was one thing. Like, oh, you like me, I like you too. Okay,
right.
And then you hanging out with somebody or spending time with them, or whatever it is, and then to find out, it's like stuff happened. It's like, oh, okay, well, that couldn't have been right. That can't be a friend, and then you try something different with the next person. So I'll say I definitely learned by trial and error. And I have to say, like, especially in the last couple of years, like, yeah, being an adult and losing a friend is kind of so mind-boggling. Like you said, Trina, like, okay, if there's something wrong, like, we're adults and we're friends, so why not just tell me what's wrong? Like, tell me what's wrong, and then we can move forward, or we could just agree not to move forward. But I think, I think a lot of people lack true communication skills.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
The
like,
communication.
right. And it's not just, when people talk about communication, they always talking about, like in a male to female relationship.
Mhm.
But if you're a bad communicator, I feel like that spans across every relationship you have. So it's going to interfere with you trying to be a friend. It's going to interfere with you trying to be in a relationship. It's going to come into play a whole lot. And I feel like a lot of times, even with that, what people do is you blame the other people. You don't really look at the things that you're doing. He said, what does that say? Taught how to be petty before embracing the good stuff. And what did she say? What do you say to a person that's supposed to be your friend, that they love you but envy you?
Mhm.
I don't know if I would put that under a friendship category. Like, because if you envy me, you can't be my friend. Like, I may be being a friend to you, but on your side, I feel like there's always going to be something lacking because you have all that envy that you need to work through. Like, it doesn't matter how good of a friend I might be to you. If you're envious of me, it's always going to be a lopsided relationship. So I don't know, like, how much of a friend that truly is, because if I ever need something, even if it's just like a real ear, like, or if I go broke, or, if I'm having money problems and you envious of me, the whole time I'm talking, all you thinking of is, yeah, I bet you she done been brought down a peg or two, like,
Mhm.
so it's almost like impossible for you to be supportive and be that friend. Yeah, so I don't know.
I agree.
She was a friend for 20 years before she told me this. Tangela, you want to jump in there?
No, I was just saying I agree. I don't see how you can be friends with someone who you're envious or jealous of,
Right.
because I kind of question, do you want to see the best for me?
Right.
And is the relationship, mutual? And I don't think that's fair. Especially if you're not going to address or talk about the issue that may be present. But that's not being a good friend. That's not being a good,
Right. So yeah, Eva
yeah.
said envy can ruin a friendship if not checked, but it's their responsibility to fix it. Absolutely. Like, I can't,
Mm,
you know, I can't fix. That's what I'm saying. Like, no matter how good of a friend I am to
right.
you, if you're envious of me, like, there's only so much that I can do. But I have a question. So, we're all believers and we all believe in Jesus and the Bible and all those great things. So what do you do? Do you think it's possible to just not like somebody? Look at that face.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's nothing that says that you have to get along with everybody. I mean, um, God made us with different personalities. Everybody's not compatible. Um, I think the thing is that you're supposed to. I think it's the Bible says to live peaceably with all men.
There it is.
That's all you got to do. You ain't got to be friends. You ain't got to be all up in people's
That's
faces
it.
and hang out. You have to live peaceably and love them with the love of Jesus. Sam, no, always say, love you in Jesus.
Exactly. I agree 1,000%. Um, but like you say, follow peace. I will never tear you down. I will never destroy you, but I may not like your personality. But and to each his own. But that's not a license to kind of do somebody dirty.
Right.
But I don't have to like you. I don't have to like your ways, but I definitely have to follow peace and not allow not but we do have to be careful that the devil doesn't use that as a way to kind of slip in there and try to plant certain seeds
Right.
So we have to make sure that we're keeping our spirit in check so that, you know, if you feel yourself frowning up every time this person walk by, then, you know, you got to work on that. But if, you know, I can coexist, but not, you know, want to interact.
Right. So, Ephraim said, "How would y'all rate yourself as a friend?" Trina, let's start with you.
I think I'm a good friend. I mean, I think I'm a good listener. And I'm I think I show up when you need me. Um, I'm not a reach out person.
Okay.
But if you ever need me, if you ever say to me, I need you, I will drop everything and be there for you. But I'm not gonna call you, hey, how you doing? Like, I'm not that just sit and talk. Once in a while, I don't know if that means I'm not a good communicator because I don't talk to you a lot. But when we do talk, it's all good. That's what I feel, and I feel
Okay.
that my close friends feel that same way. We don't talk all the time, but when we do, it's good.
Okay. Angela.
But I mean, Sam, if you want to jump in and say, "Girl, that's not really true," you
But
could.
listen, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna answer last. I got something for you.
No, oh, okay. You gonna rate me too?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay,
Go
yeah.
ahead, Angela.
Go ahead, Angela.
Okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying, I feel like I'm a good friend. But when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of friends, like I said, and I always wanted friends. But you know, and if I'm honest, when I was younger, I kind of felt like an odd child. But I think now, looking back, I think that, you know, that had a lot to do with God's calling on my life. But at the time, it just kind of felt, you know, very lonely. So I honestly got used to being by myself. Um, and my sisters will tell you when they were outside playing with the neighborhood kids, I was inside reading books. So even now, you know, I'm fine with, you know, being in the house and being by myself. So I have the characteristics and the qualities that makes a good friend. I'm loyal. Um, I'm considered and compassionate. But I think sometimes I could work on being more present, and I could work on, you know, being more engaging, um, and really showing how I feel
Mhm.
about, you know, my friends. But I think that's kind of me. Like, it's taking a more concerted effort to make sure, you know, you need to reach out, you need to connect, you need to engage, as opposed to, you know, just kind of chill, you know, and being okay with being by myself. So that's kind of how I would rate myself in the friend category.
I just want you to know your husband messy. You see his little comment. Um,
Could have said something.
so
No.
I'll say this, like, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I've noticed that for the most part, well, previously I'll say, like, I'm the friend, you know, like, if you right and you want somebody to have your back, you gonna call me. Like, you know, but if you wrong, you don't want to call me because I'm gonna say I'll still have your back, but first I'm gonna say you wrong. Like, you know, I'm gonna stand with you, but you wrong. Like, you know, I got you. Yeah, I support you, but you need to know you're wrong. So how you did it was wrong. You know, how do we fix it? And you know, a lot of times trying to be a friend, people don't want to hear
That's
when
true.
they're wrong. They just want you to always agree with them. You know, they call and try to tell this long story. You was wrong in the first 2 minutes. You could have stopped at minute number 2.5. You didn't have to go for 10 minutes, you know, because people don't want to hear that they're wrong. So I don't know, like, if it's because Tangela, like you said before, you know, I'm the oldest. So, you know,
Yeah.
you're always the one like, you know, don't do that. No, don't do
Right.
that. Don't. So I don't know. I will say, in my mind, I feel like I'm very loyal as a friend. Um, I've gotten better with the whole being present. Like texting is my friend because sometimes you get on the phone and you can't get off. Like they just go too long, and I lose interest. I can't. But like I'm good with trying to text and whatever. I'm definitely good as a go-to. If you need something, either I can do it or I know somebody. I always got somebody I know that can kind of help you out. I'll say for Trina, I've known her since I was 9 years old. So from being 9 to being over 40, I'll say for the most part, she's been the same. Like there's not a whole lot of shenanigans. It's just kind of this is who I am, a consistent type of person. So I mean, I think, part of that not reaching out so much is that New York thing. I really feel like, being a New Yorker is so different than living other places because people are very, very different. Like I could talk to her and she'd be like, oh, and it's fine. And then I could talk to somebody here and they be like, oh, you so harsh. I'm like, what's that? Like, it's really, really different. But I think in my mind that I'm a good friend, but I'm also the honest friend. I'm the one in the room that, everybody be like, oh, girl, you should have told her. And I'd be like, no, because you was wrong. Like, you wrong. And nobody ever wants to hear that. So I think I lose some points on, because maybe all the time I shouldn't tell you when you was wrong. Maybe, maybe I should let you slide sometimes. I don't know. So I think I lose points on that. Gwendy said, do you believe in loving someone from a distance? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's kind of that's kind of one of my mottos. I'll love you as long as you stay over there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to, I think once you really know who you are and you're secure and confident in who you are, you feel less of a need to try to impress people,
Right.
or be in a big old circle and have all eyes on you. Like I honestly don't feel the need to do that. I mean, I know people are like, well, you on here, it's just a different goal.
Right.
I mean, the goal is not to be the center of attention. But I think, with, like you said, being insecure when you're young and growing up and maturing and understanding some things, I think that makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
So we talked about not liking somebody and how you adjust to that. What do you think? So what is your idea of a good friend?
I think my idea of a good friend is a lot of what we talked about tonight. Um, Loyalty, someone who will celebrate you when you're doing good, but also, like you said, Sam, tell you when you're not doing the right thing. Someone who will push you into
Wow.
that place where they know and who will believe in you.
Right.
Like Andrina said, not somebody who's going to be envious or jealous of you, but someone who you can learn from and who won't be afraid to help you grow. I think compassion goes a long way as well. But I no longer look for friends who are just like me.
Right.
I no longer look for people who have the same temperament as I do. I don't look for people who, kind of think the same way I do. I look for the sincerity and the genuineness of their heart. Um, and having some of the same goals or at least the same direction
Right.
in life, I think helps.
Right. Trina?
Like for me, I like to. I think a good friend is someone that's not judgmental, and I said that before. But also, like Tangela was saying, I noticed quite a while ago that the majority of my friends are not like me. Like I'm kind of laid back, but most of my friends have big personalities. Sam, I keep telling you, you get a different Trina.
Right.
But like, to the outside world, Miss Taylor at the office is quiet. They're like, why don't you talk? You don't get that one. But anyway, what I'm saying is that most of my friends are like really big personalities, outgoing, extroverts. And those are the people that I kind of make friends with. But you know what? They make friends with me. They usually come talk to me because I'm not going to come. I'm going to be like, hey, let's be friends. I'll just be sitting there like, and then, you know what I mean.
I'm with you.
Right. So if I actually make friends with another introvert, it's just by happenstance. Happen to be like, oh hey, oh you too, hi. So I agree that I most of my friends are big personalities. They came and started talking to me, and and I enjoy those big personalities.
Gotcha. So I think for me, I don't know, at this stage in my life, because I think it's changed a lot. Like I said, especially in the last year. I definitely agree with you, Tangela, with I don't want everybody to be like me. I don't need everybody to be the New Yorker, concrete streets. like I don't feel that I need that anymore. Cause for a while, I was like, I need somebody that's like me. Like, but then I realized, there's a reason why I am me, because, I don't really need nobody to be that. But I definitely I do like the variety. I think a good friend for me, you kind of got to have a little bit of tough skin. I'll be honest. For me, like if you super sensitive, I don't know how long our friendship will last, because I feel like you're gonna take offense to something that I definitely don't mean offensively, but then because you're so mild mannered, you're never gonna say anything, which makes the offense seem way bigger than than it needs to be. So for me, I think you just gotta have a little bit of tough skin to be my friend. Also sincerity. I just, whoever you are, just be that person. Like I don't if you real sensitive, listen, Sam, I'm sensitive, and then we can maybe work from there. But if you're like, that secret sensitive, where you just internalize everything, I just don't know what longevity between us would look like. Because I have to be like, and honesty, that sincerity and honesty. You got to be able. Don't keep telling me you like my cooking and you don't like it. Just because every time you come over, I'm gonna be in the kitchen, thinking I'm cooking, and you ain't like the meal yet, right? Just that sincerity and that honesty is like at the top for me. And you just have to have some goals, like some direction, some focus. Like at 40, I'm sorry, I can't be club hopping. I'm just like, whenever that period should have been in my life, I probably missed most of it. So, and I'm not going to try to find it now. Like, you
recreate it.
Right. Like, we have to have the same focus, family and somewhere God has to fit in there. Like,
right.
Let's at least believe he exists.
Oh.
At least
start there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, you can't just be a total renegade. Yeah. What did Ephraim say? Could your friendship survive a hardship, betrayal, or hurt? I'll say for me, a betrayal would be hard, and it would depend on what that is, and then your idea of rebounding. Like, if you did something and you're like, Sam, I said I was sorry. Mm-mm. We can't survive that. I need I need some, sincere apology, and then we still would have to, work toward something better or something more. Yeah, it for me, it would be hard. It would be hard if you like betrayal. Like that's just like a ugly word. Like, but I don't know. Like,
It
'cause
even sounds ugly.
right.
Trail.
It would be hard. I don't know because like one of my I don't know. I would try. I think I would want to, because if you're friends with somebody, once you're not angry anymore, you generally want, you miss the friendship in some ways.
Mhm.
I don't even want to. I don't know if I can rebound though. Trina, what do you say?
Probably not.
See, look, I was trying to clean it up and make it sound all good. She like, no, it's a no for me.
Nope.
See, that's that New York.
Probably not. I mean, I could get past it. I could let it go. I don't think I can come back and be close friends with you again.
Right.
I mean, I could get to love you in Jesus and be friends with you. Just I know her, we're good. We're good. But
Let's see Marvin again.
the closeness, I don't think so. Like that's just real. That's who I am. Like once you betray me,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Betrayal is so like a hurt. Yeah, see,
I can't really. Probably not.
yeah.
No.
Tangela.
It would be hard. I think it depends on the circumstances, who it is, what was the offense,
Right.
what was the impact, and then, like you say, what was was there any ownership?
Right.
Was there a sincere apology? Give me something to
Right.
go off of to salvage the relationship. It just kind of depends. If it's a situation where it's kind of expendable, then I may just kind of say, you know what, it is what it is. But if it's a relationship that I truly care about, I'll try to make it work if the other person is trying to make it work. But I think it just depends.
Yeah, like I guess I'm kind of in a stalemate with somebody. We were friends of sorts, and she kind of hit that B word real hard, and that betrayal, betrayal, that B word.
Oh, that's
B word.
Right.
Not that other word.
Wait,
And then it was like she not really sorry. Like she not sorry. Not like to me. You sorry, to other people. And then so yeah, like I'm kind of in a stalemate. Like I don't even, and then other people like, oh, you should talk to. So yeah, that betrayal is hard. But hold on. Gwendy said, "How do you build trust after betrayal?" I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think that sincere apology, like you really have to be sorry. Like, you really have to, make a sincere apology for that. That would have to be the that would have to be the start. She said, which B word? Not that B word. Yeah, so I think, yeah, it would be hard. But you have to start somewhere. He said, what? Is there a limit to friendship? Can your husband have a woman friend? Uh-oh. Wait. I'm gonna answer first.
We'll have that conversation after the broadcast over.
You're getting yourself in trouble. I would say, he said, look, he said, I'm asking. Good rebound. So my rule is this. I don't have a problem with him having female friends, but your female friend, like, she needs to be our female friend. Meaning, no, I mean, not like I don't have to hang out with her like that. But what I'm saying is when she see you and we together, hey Sam, how you doing? Whatever, they can't be, I woke up and she stopped talking.
Yeah.
It can't be like, I say hi to her and she's like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
No. Because when
Yeah.
you gotta, it has to be a level of respect and comfort there. Because if every time I come around, it's shady, then yeah, you're not friends with him.
Yeah.
I don't. That's just not gonna happen. But I think if there's a level of respect, then I'm okay with it. Like, don't be putting hearts under his picture.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Like, on Facebook, you just click a thumbs up, like, and only because people don't do right.
Yeah.
People don't do right. And I don't want you thinking you're gonna be his friend and you biding your time.
I agree. That's my stance. And my biggest request is the respect factor.
Right.
But sometimes men aren't always aware of what's going on, and
Right.
they're just kind of blindly, no, that's my friend. Like, you got to watch certain things. You got to, be mindful, of certain, kind of innuendos. But yeah, if we keep it above, on the table, then
right. Yeah, like I totally agree. Because like I love Jesus. I really do. But sometimes church, because sometimes church women don't do right. Don't text my husband asking him to do stuff.
Right.
Just don't, like, all the time, unless you're one of the old mothers, and I mean like the old mothers. Like,
right. Old.
Right. Don't be texting him, asking him to do stuff. Especially if you don't talk to me. Because he ain't got nothing for you.
Right.
And like Anthony, he'll get funny. He'll look at a text and be like, start looking around like a kid because he already know what my response gonna be.
And Sam, what I had started doing, like our musician is married. I'll send her the message and say, hey, can you ask, such and such, da da da. Or, and he's like I love him like a brother,
right.
But I don't want to even give the perception.
That level of respect.
Right. So I either text them together or we'll do another group text, or I'll text her and say, especially if I'm running, close on time and it may be a little later than what I would normally text, I would definitely text her and say, hey, can you ask, brother such and such, can he do this, that, or whatever? Yeah, no.
Yeah, like with the marriage group, I got the husbands, I got the wives. So a lot of times, I put husband and wife on a text, unless it's something where I'm trying to surprise your wife. Then me and Anthony on a text with you. Like, I try to keep it, I want to treat people how I want to be treated. Like, I don't want, nobody to feel any kind of way because I know I wouldn't like it. So I don't do it. And she said the heart thing. I put hearts all over Facebook. I don't mean that. Like, you can love a post, not the loving, like you can hit a heart and you love the post. I'm talking about when you go extra out your way to just put hearts under there. Like, stuff like that, for me, raise red flags. And that's only because, he's been doing this online things. And, people send him DMs and all this other stuff. So, yeah, for me.
Wow, the DM. Wait a minute.
Unless they want to see that New York side of me, we'll want to go there. So, but yeah, I mean, it's not, it's not as simple as it sounds. It's just, over the top stuff.
Yeah,
will definitely catch my eye. Like, it'll definitely catch my eye. And as soon as it catch my eye, I'm making sure that he know That's respect. That's right. Include the wife. Listen, I grew up, well, Trina know, the church we grew up in, wasn't no, you ain't even really hug the men. Don't be hugging the young girls. You don't, like, none of that touching.
It's the leave room for the Holy Ghost hug when you reach way round and then pat pat.
Or the shoulder.
Yes.
Right.
The shoulder lean.
You know what? Me and your husband gonna have problems. Really, Ephraim, I thought we was better than this. I'm just saying, sometimes you have to help people out, help them to understand. You got to make it clear. But I think, all jokes aside, though, I think, like as a whole, like women as a whole, I think if we definitely respected each other, not just from married women, but just from one woman to the next. Like you said, I don't have to like everything about you. I can respect you, be cordial, and keep it moving. Like, and just we operate and exist on that plane. Like, I don't feel necessary to feel better about myself to tear you down. Like, I think if we just, listen, you a woman like I am, you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and, just some mutual respect, I think would go a long way sometimes. But it is hard, if you don't really have a whole lot of self-respect, I guess it's hard to respect another woman. Just like everything else, friendship and respect, all of these things start within. If you don't feel good about yourself, if you're extremely insecure, if you don't have a lot of self-esteem, then unfortunately, you tend to project those things onto other people, and you treat people badly sometimes, or you mishandle people because of your internal issues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that we all work on ourselves, work to be better. Work to be the best version of yourself, not to be somebody else. Like, I can't be Trina. Don't matter. We both come from New York. It don't matter. I could only be Sam. I can't be Tangela. I can only be myself, but I can work to be the best version of myself, or at least a better version than I was last month or 6 months ago. And I think those are goals that everyone should set, being a better person than you were before. And it makes it easier for you to be a good friend to somebody else. Any parting words, ladies?
No.
I love that summary. If we value ourselves, then we will value ourselves. I love that.
Oh, thank you. Look at those smiles. Listen, thank you, ladies, my lovely co-hosts. Give them a hand. So I appreciate you, ladies. I appreciate all our viewers. For me and you might have a little beef. We might have a little problem later. Thank you so much, viewers. Questions, Gwendy, is always good for you. Drop in. We appreciate you coming through. We'll be back next Tuesday with another awesome topic. Catch us at 8:30. I'm looking. Oh, Andrina, thank you for coming in. We enjoyed having you, and I love the comments. Listen, the comments mean everything. Lady Walker, thank you for coming by and sharing with us tonight. All right, you guys have a great night, and thanks for watching.